Welcome to 12.5, 12.7 review. Number one is find the volume and surface area of the sphere. So let's get started with volume. So the volume is 4 times pi times r cubed over 3. So we take 4 times pi times 6, that should be 3 cubed over 3. 6 is the diameter, so 3 is the radius. So we cube 3. And that gives us 27 times pi times 4. That's 339. Then we divide by 3. And our volume of the sphere is 113.10 cubic meters. Surface area is 4 pi r squared. So 4 times pi times 3 squared. So we have 9 times 4 is 36. 36 pi. So 36 times pi gives us 113.10 square meters. So the volume and the surface area are identical when you have a radius of 3. Now, the volume here is a hemisphere. It's half. So we're going to take and do the exact same thing. 4 times pi times the radius, 3.5 cubed. We're going to divide by 3, and then when we're done, we'll divide by 2. Okay, so 3.5 cubed on your calculator times pi times 4, and then we divide by 3. That's 179, so we divide by 2 at the end, and we get 89.80 cubic yards. Surface area is 4 times pi times the radius squared, and then we're going to divide by 2 because it's a hemisphere, right? But we also have to add the surface of the bottom of this shape, which is a circle, pi r squared. Okay, so what do we get? 3.5 squared times pi times 4, and then we divide by 2, all right, and that number is 76.969, and then pi r squared, so we have 3.5 squared times pi, and that's going to be 38.4845, so add those two together, and we get 115.45, and that's square yards. Number 3, so the volume here is 4 times pi times the radius. So we don't know the radius. We have the circumference. Circumference is pi times diameter. So we have circumference is 9 pi. So to get the diameter, we divide by pi. The diameter is 9. So the radius is 4.5. So now we put 4.5 in our formulas and finish it. So 4.5 cubed, 91, times pi times 4, and then divide by 3. And our volume is 381.70 cubic inches. Surface area is 4 times pi times 4.5 squared. So 4.5 squared is 20.25 times pi times 4, and that gives us a surface area of 254.47. Okay, number 6 here. The radius is 9, so we just go straight through everything. Volume is 4 times pi times 6 cubed all over 3. So we take 6 cubed first, that's 216 times pi times 4, and then we divide by 3. So we get 904.78 cubic feet. Surface area is 4 times pi times the radius squared. So 9 squared times pi times 4 gives us 1005.31 square feet. Number 7, it's a hemisphere, so volume is 4 times pi times the radius is 6.5. 6.5 cubed all over 3, and when we're done, we'll divide by 2. So 6.5 cubed is 274 times pi times 4. Then we divide by 3, 1,150. Then we got to divide it in half. And we get 575.17 cubic centimeters. Now we do surface area, and it's weird because it's half of a sphere. So 4 times pi times r squared. We're going to divide it by 2, and then we're going to add the base circle. So 6.5 squared times pi times 4 is 530 divided by 2 gives us 265.464792 plus 6.5 squared times pi, which is 132.7 dot dot dot. So take that number and add 265.4645792, and we get 398.20 square centimeters. Number 8 here. The volume is 4 times pi times the radius. Well, how do we get the radius? We have the circumference. Circumference is pi times the diameter. It tells us what c is here. It's 20 pi. So how do we find d? We divide off the pi. So the diameter is 20, so the radius must be 10. So now we put 10 and cube it, and then we'll divide by 3, and we'll get our volume. So 10 cubed is 1,000 times pi times 4, and then we divide by 3. And that gives us 4,188.79 cubic meters. Now we do surface area, which is just 4 pi r squared, so 10 squared. So that's 100 times 4 times pi gives us 1,256.64 square meters. Next one. So find the radius of a sphere, okay, with the surface area of 100 pi square centimeters. Okay, so surface area is 100 pi, and the formula is 4 times pi times radius squared. So we're solving for r. So we're going to divide off the 4 pi, and we get 100 divided by 4 is 25. That's r squared. So we take the square root, and r equals 5 centimeters. Find the diameter of a sphere with a surface area of 6.25 pi square centimeters. Okay, so again, 6.25 pi equals the surface area formula of 4 times pi times the radius squared. Now we're finding diameter, so we got to find the radius here first. Divide off the 4 pi. Radius squared is equal to 6.25 divided by 4. That's 1.5625. Take the square root, and you get 1.25 equals r, and then we got to multiply it by 2 to get the diameter. So times 2, and that's 2.5, and that's centimeters. Find the volume of a sphere that has a surface area of 144 pi. So to get the volume, we need the radius. So 4 times pi times the radius cubed over 3. So to get the radius, we're going to use the surface area. So 144 pi equals the surface area formula, 4 times pi times r squared. So again, we're solving for r. Divide off the 4 pi. And 144 divided by 4 gives me 36. So we take the square root, and r equals 6. So our volume is 4 times pi times 6 cubed all over 3. So 6 cubed times pi times 4, 2714, divided by 3, gives me 904.78 cubic centimeters. Find the volume of a sphere that has a surface area of pi. Alright, so surface area is pi. The formula is 4 pi r squared. So we're going to find r again, and then we got to get volume. So divide off 4 pi, and what happens is we get 1/4 equals r squared. There's a 1 in front of everything, so take the square root, you get 1 over 2 for r. So your radius is 1/2, so now your volume is 4 times pi times 0.5 cubed divided by 3. So 0.5 cubed is 0.125 times pi times 4 divided by 3. And the volume is 0.52 cubic centimeters. Describe your shapes. Identify the shape created by rotating around the axis. So this will be a cylinder, and the radius is 6 and the height is 6. Number 2, this is going to be, let me draw it. Okay. When you rotate it, that's what you get. The radius is 3. The height is 4. I'm sorry. The radius, sorry. When you rotate it this way, okay? Radius at the top is going to be 2. And the radius at the bottom is going to be 4. The height of the whole thing is 3. So what you get is a solid trapezoid cone, okay? Trapezoidal cone. Trapezoidal cone, okay? Number 3, you're going to get a hemisphere, okay? So it rotates around like this, and the radius is 9, and the height is 9. Okay, and then this one you get a cone with a radius of 9 and the height is 13. Number 2, what do we get? We get a cylinder. The radius is 4 and the height is 10. And here we're going to get a sphere. So I'm drawing this quickly. The radius is 2. That's all you need for a sphere. Number 7. Oops, I drew it on the wrong side there. You get a very fat cylinder. The radius is 20 and the height is 12. It's very important that we know which one's which. And here we're going to get a sphere. And the radius is 6.7. Here we're going to get a silo. We can describe it a lot of different ways here. So the height is 5 and 9.8. You could do the double thing, a hemisphere and a cylinder. You could say that, hemisphere and a cylinder. So if we do it as a silo, the height is going to be 14.8. The radius is 5. And on this one, we get an ice cream cone. Okay. Or you could label it twice. You could say a cone and a hemisphere. So what we have here is got to figure out this piece. So you'd have to use the Pythagorean theorem to get the total height here. Okay, so 8 squared plus 17 squared, equals 17 squared. So A, B, and C. So you take 289 minus 64, and that's 225. So H is 15. So 15 and 8 is 23. So the height of the whole thing is 23. The radius is 8. And last, sketch the two-dimensional figure. You just draw your axis and draw the shape of what you get. So that's crazy. There's a fat bottle there. And I'm going to do this one like this. So you're going to get shape of a pear. There you go. That's all you have to do on this. All done.